Water and the form it takes. We are human beings, and as much as we live our lives in boxes and try to separate one reality from the other, our realities do overlap. This overlap often confuses us, and we tend to wonder who we really are. Should it be such a cause of concern? Do we all play different parts in our own lives? Sometimes these roles are quite similar, and yet they can be very different too. Life has a way of getting us to do things. We do things because we want to, or we get forced into doing them. Sometimes we don't even think about why we do things, and sometimes we act in order to survive. This survival can be on an emotional level, a physical level, or an ethical level. Our actions under different situations might appear quite different to an observer, and maybe even to ourselves, and yet all our actions are united by a common factor, which is that they all originate from us. This is the central point, and the truth that we often tend to forget. What comes from us is a part of us, and if we are, or consider ourselves to be a good person, then everything that comes out of us is good, no matter how it looks. This is just pure logic. A friend of mine fell in love with the love of his life. His girlfriend had various issues, but he stuck around because he felt it was the right thing to do. Time went by. The girlfriend became the fiancée, and then the wife. He continued to love her even though her own problems continued to cast a shadow on the relationship. All of us around him knew that it was an unhealthy relationship, all but him. He felt that if you love someone, you love them with all their problems and shortcomings. And he was right, as long as it was only him. Then they got pregnant, and as the delivery date approached, he began to realize that his wife, under the influence of her family, was going to give the child away. Due to her own problems, she also told him she wanted a break from the relationship. He was devastated. He wanted to be a part of the child's life, and he also wanted his wife to be there. He realized that his wife was making unsound decisions, but there was nothing he could do. He loved her too much. He tried to reason with her, and finally reached the conclusion that the only way he could salvage something out of this situation and make sure that his child have a loving home was by taking the legal route. Once this realization hit him, he was torn. He could not get himself to fight a legal battle against the woman he loved so much. He began to doubt himself and the love he had had for his now ex, and wondered how he could do such a thing if his love was real. As he was battling with his own thoughts one day, walking down the main street, it started to rain. He rushed and took shelter under the awning of a shop. He stood there, but his mind continued to race. The turmoil inside his head was in tune with the turmoil that the raindrops were going through as they fell from the heavens onto the ground and found their way to the gutters. He stared into the rain and thought about how the clean raindrops fall on the ground and get dirty. He wondered if the water starts to doubt its identity and its essence as soon as it hits the ground and mixes with the dirt. His thoughts ran with the water. He contemplated how the rain would finally reach the sea, turn into vapor, become clouds, and fall as snow or raindrops. It finally hit him that no matter what the form the water takes, depending on its environment, it always keeps its essence. Water never loses what it is, no matter what circumstances force it to become. He had a smile on his face as he realized that, just like water, he had to mold himself based on the circumstances he found himself in, and if it meant mixing with the dirt, turning into vapor, or becoming snow, it really didn't matter, because just like water, it wasn't possible for him to lose his essence. Every form that he takes is him. Everything he does is part of him. If he was water to begin with. Circumstances might change him into dirty water, seawater, vapor or ice, but he will always be water. The truth will never change. When the circumstances permitted him, he loved his wife. As the circumstances changed, so should he, and if the current reality demands that he fight a legal battle, then that is what he should do. Just because he attains a different role does not change who he is. If he was good to begin with, he remains good. Bad cannot come out of good. No matter how many forms water changes, it will never become lead.